I sewed my first partial seams a few days ago and it was so much easier than I expected. I had built it up as a big, scary, new technique and I was so wrong. Now, I want to share what I've learned while it's still fresh in my head. Let's make a few blocks and you'll see what I mean. Keep in mind that the goal of this exercise is not to make a pretty quilt. Use up your scraps. If they can be arranged in a pleasing way, that's great, but don't stress over it. Nobody ever has to see what you make, and no one will be sleeping underneath it. So go gather up your ugliest scrap fabric and let's start cutting. You'll need to cut 16 pieces that are 2 inches by 4 inches, 4 pieces that are 2 inches by 2 inches, and that's it. These pieces are purposely cut a little big so we can trim them as we go for extra neat blocks. They're gonna be ugly, but that doesn't mean they can't be neat. As always, I'll be glue basting, sewing, pressing, and trimming behind the scenes every step of the way. I'm also going to pop in a little diagram for reference because I forgot to label the pieces when I was making the GIF. So we'll have 5 pieces, A, B, C, D, and E. For step 1, we're going to align the right hand edge of piece A and piece B, and then we're going to sew with right sides together. You're going to start sewing at or below the center mark of piece A, and when you're finished, most of piece B will be unsewn, and piece A will be only half sewn. This is your partial seam. So you're going to press the seam towards piece B, and everything that is unsewn, don't mess with, don't press it. Just sort of leave it alone. You'll fix it at the end. When you're starting your blocks, always align piece A and piece B the same way, as in always on the right edge or always on the left edge, or you could end up with blocks that are traveling in opposite directions. And if you get mixed up, it's not a mistake. It's a design choice. For step 2, align piece C with the straight edge of AB with right sides together. You're going to sew from edge to edge this time, and when you're done, you're going to press towards piece C. Always press towards the bar, not the square. And don't forget to trim off the excess of piece C. Step 3 is just like step 2, you're going to align piece D with the straight edge of AC with right sides together, and you're going to sew edge to edge. Then you're going to press and trim. In step 4, you're going to start by folding piece B safely out of the way so it doesn't get caught up in your next seam. Right sides together, and you're going to sew edge to edge, and you're going to trim and press the same as always, but you're going to pay extra special attention that piece B doesn't get in the way or cut or sewn down. Step 5. Time to finish sewing the partial seam. We're going to align piece B with the straight edge of AE. Right sides together, of course, and we're going to sew from the top edge to the point where you started your partial seam in step 1. You're going to want to overlap a couple stitches and backstitch for stability. By the time you reach this step, it's very likely that your piece B has been folded and crumpled and creased, so I would recommend giving it a good press before you finish sewing the partial seam. Look at this precious ugly baby. Achievement unlocked. Go ahead and make some blocks of your own and you'll see just how easy this is. Subscribe to my channel to see me make a partial seams mini quilt next month. I'm thinking of finishing it up with some big stitch hand quilting.